And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Sammy Callahan, and with me is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell Blanken. Tyler, how are you today?
Sammy, it's great to meet you. I am so thrilled that we could have such a big-time guest, Impact's own, and it's going to be hard for me to keep up this bit. Brad, I am doing well, man. Very blessed. It's been a super nice weekend, which I know we'll get into, but I'm great, man. I'm so happy to be with you today with this new voice gimmick. How are you doing?
I feel like it's a throwback to January when I had COVID. This time I simply got a cold and it did this to me. It's just, as I say it, of course I'm going to start coughing. This is what happened last time. At least this time I made it through the intro without losing my mind and my lungs. So other than losing my voice and having just a gnarly amount of snot stuff, I feel fine. Feel good. I don't have no fevers or anything like this. I don't have no fevers. Jesus Christ. What did I just say? I ain't got none of them fevers there.
Yeah.
Tyler, I'm going to pass it to you. How are you?
Good, man. Really good. This weekend has been super nice. So yesterday was just the epitome of a relaxing Saturday. I told you that I shot hoops. So I walked to our local park, which I haven't been to that park in a while, actually, just because it's been hot. And I guess I've been lazy on Saturdays, but I took the time to walk there, about 5 to 10 minutes, super close. And the weather was just wonderful. I was wearing a Florida A&M jersey that I got on sale on the Nike app, and the weather reminded me of Florida. It was a little humid, but a high of about 92 here in the Glendale, Phoenix area. So the sun was out. It wasn't triple digits. And, at 1 p.m., I could just go to the park for like an hour and just be outside and enjoy Mother Earth. So that was a highlight. Luckily, my class has started for ASU, but the work isn't due until next week. So the class started last Thursday. We record this on a Sunday. The class started a few days ago on a Thursday, but work isn't due until 1 week from today. So I wasn't stressing about any deadlines or any of that. Family's good. Friends are good. And it's time for GI, man. So I have no complaints whatsoever.
Awesome. I saw the sun for about 13 seconds yesterday. I did not go outside. It was raining for most of the day, and then the sun did come out. I still didn't go outside. Basically, all I did was lay around until Jess, my lovely wife, made cake for no reason, and it was awesome. Tyler is at Tyler J. McDowell, who dropped some great pictures yesterday from his adventure outside. Great shoe shot, by the way. Really appreciated that.
Thank you. It took about 10 or 11 tries to get the how do I make this clear selfie not look too staged or cringe or I appreciate you, man. It took some hard work to get there, but I had to show off the sneakers.
It was great. Speaking of great, wrestling was pretty great this week. I don't really have a lot of complaints about the shows. I feel very entertained, and that's what we want from our wrestling. And the good thing is, Tyler, is that we are getting wrestling, including from the WWE, not sports entertainment. We're getting more sports entertainment, I think, from AEW and the Yaz than from actual WWE product these days, except for a few moments here and there. Speaking of sports entertainment, Tyler, I am ready for your first question, your WWE centric question.
Yeah, I got you. And isn't it wild that wrestlers in WWE can now say that they are wrestlers on screen? That KO Drew
Dragon
promo,
Fire. Yes.
Absolute Dragon Fire. Probably my favorite WWE moment of the week. Maybe my favorite moment. I don't know if I can say it's my favorite moment in wrestling because we have a lot to discuss, but yeah, what a time, Brad. I'm enjoying the ride as much as you are.
Yeah.
My WWE centric question for you is related to our head of the table, our tribal chief, perhaps the most over man in Montreal, aside from the honorary Uce, Sami Zayn, right. Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So Brad, we know Roman Reigns is over just about everywhere he goes. The insert name of city, acknowledge me, just great piece of business every time. But in Canada on SmackDown, this dude was super over. He exited
Right.
his vehicle in the arena, and just his mere presence, massive pop. He laid out a promo on SmackDown. We know it was a good night for Roman overall in terms of the reception. So my question for you was kind of a bigger picture on Roman Reigns. We know that he acknowledged this on screen, I think for the first time ever. We know that he is a part-time superstar. He's not at every house show. He's not at every SmackDown anymore. But this reign, avoid the pun. Brad, I want to know, how do you think, considering all that Roman Reigns has been for WWE, especially this head of the table run, how do you think we'll look back on his glorious, if not at times polarizing career? Is he going to end up in the Mount Rushmore conversation of WWE superstars? Do you think he is just a different conversation entirely? How do you think we're going to look back on his career when he, as you and I kind of speculate, maybe starts putting both feet into Hollywood?
So it's a good question. Stone Cold Steve Austin was Stone Cold Steve Austin for 6 years. We don't look back and go like, he was stunning Steve. We can kind of ignore that. Even though the work he was doing was really great. He was part of the Hollywood Blondes with a serious Texas accent. So it never really made a lot of sense. The Rock, kind of the same deal. We remember Rocky Maivia to remember The Rock. That's really all we do, is we go, look what he was, look what he is now, instead of, oh man, he's always been The Rock. I'm trying to think of other people that have absolutely taken off. Yeah, to a lesser extent, you can go to Mayor Kane if you want to, who was all of these failed gimmicks. The Undertaker, all of these failed gimmicks. What was he? Not Marvelous Mark. He was like something else, Mark. At one point, I can't remember what. Magnificent Mark. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something like that.
And eventually became the Undertaker. And I think we're going to look back at it as a success, very much like we look at John Cena. It's one of those things where, because Cena's been polarizing his entire career, but he's not polarizing anymore. Now, when he comes back, it's just massive pop. He hasn't changed. The only thing that changed is the frequency of his appearances. So, I was watching Hollywood Rock doing a song in the middle of the ring where he was torching a town recently. And he's just getting nuclear heat, like Boo City coming out of the crowd, booing him out of the building. And it's like, that would never happen now if The Rock showed up. He could say anything he wanted and people would scream and cheer. I think that's the way Roman is. I think Roman, we're going to look back at it and go, he had an incredible career. I feel like recently, or in this run, he's shown that he's not his 3 moves of doom or 5 moves of doom, that he can wrestle. He can do different styles of matches, that he can engage with the crowd effectively if you let him, instead of just being like this, I'm tough guy. I was chosen, so I'm the champ. And that's why nobody's going to argue that he had an incredible look, but that gimmick was just kind of forced on us. So people rejected it. Stone Cold was a bad guy, man. Stone Cold was just straight up a bad guy, but he was so awesome. People didn't care. It was, let's cheer the bad guy who's fighting his boss and all this other stuff. Roman is, he's a monster. And like, he's an incredible looking man, incredible looking wrestler, insane lineage, like insane wrestling lineage. And he's wearing a tactical vest after the Shield is over. And then he has the big dumb Roman Reigns logo on it. I hate that thing. I've always hated it. It looks generic. It looks like a rock band, like from nu metal in the late 90s. I just hate that thing. And now he's just coming out without a shirt and going, I'm the best person in the world. I am the tribal chief. Acknowledge me. That's all he had to do. He just switched it a little bit. We're going to remember Tribal Chief. We're not going to remember the other stuff. And when we do, we'll remember it fondly as like that transition phase, even though it's been like a decade, that transition from where he was to where he is. There's a long answer, but I think that movement from Shield Roman to Tribal Chief Roman will be remembered as just Tribal Chief Roman. And I think he'll be celebrated. Mount Rushmore, I don't know if I would do that, but he's definitely got to be at the top of the list with the greats of all time.
I love that, Brad. I agree with you on so many points. The Mount Rushmore conversation, I think, will be interesting because if I think about my fandom from the late 90s to now, I don't know that I can name 4 other dudes that have had a more historic, dominant run than Roman over the last 2 to 3 years. It's fascinating to me because, like you said, his work with the Shield. I know we're going to talk about one member of the Shield soon.
Yes,
At least one other member.
the third best.
According to one Chicago Phil, the third best. So you have the Shield, which I think all of our listeners and viewers would agree that the Shield will be an all-time faction, just based off the sheer talent of those 3. So you have the Shield, right? Great way to introduce Roman, and then you fast forward to head of the table. But as you pointed out, those really critical years in between. I mean, Brad, that had to be what, a 4 or 5 year stretch where I don't want to say Roman was wasted by any means because he was in prominent roles. He was IC champion. He won the Rumble. He was being booked.
Right.
But the fans just really overall clearly rejected him as this, if I may say, vanilla babyface with the tactical vest. So I wonder if we could have gotten 4 to 5 more years of head of the table, tribal chief, shirtless, I'm just an ass kicker Roman. Like, yes. I kind of, as much as I'm enjoying this and kind of feel
like we got robbed. Yes.
Yeah, because I really think to me it feels that come April or May of next year after WrestleMania, maybe we're seeing Roman even less frequently than we do now. Maybe he rolls into that Brock Lesnar-esque role of he comes out for perhaps the big 4 pay-per-views at most. I'm really feeling nostalgic, or not even nostalgic, but just kind of reflecting on, man, that those 4 to 5 years where Vince was pushing Roman as his top babyface that we must cheer for, even though maybe I was cheering for him because I was a fan. This current version obviously way supersedes that babyface vest guy. So I do kind of, to use your word, feel robbed that we didn't get the head of the table sooner because it was right there. The Usos have been there. It was just money to be made, money to be printed for all parties involved. But like you, the man's reign has been historic. Yeah. And I think that he is obviously a first ballot Hall of Famer and has had a run that we're going to look back on fondly for years to come.
I think I was thinking about the Usos, the earlier Usos, where they were coming out like tribal. They had the face paint and the tribal gimmick and like that's not really who they are. It's just what.
No, this version, even though that was entertaining and they were still awesome in the ring,
they were great.
This version pales in comparison.
Yeah.
What's the lowest you can have them on the best tag team in the world conversation? There may be 4 or 5 at the lowest. Even that feels a little disrespectful for me to say. It's Bucks, FTR, in no particular order. Bucks, FTR. Usos can't be past 3rd, right?
Yeah, there's no way. Usos.
Who am I forgetting?
Briscoes, maybe.
Gun Club.
Probably.
They had a good. They dominated, by the way, on Wednesday.
Oh yes, they did.
Varsity Blondes.
That was great.
Stood no chance.
I'm fine with that. It's anytime I can see Brian Pillman get his ass kicked, I'm happy. I just man, I don't know. I got nothing. Like true tag teams. I mean,
right. Yep.
Tag teams from the beginning. It's hard because like Dax has got a singles match coming up, but it's FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory, which I wouldn't put them above any of the other teams we mentioned. Man, I got nothing current tag team wise.
The New Day is a trio, which I don't know if they're in their own separate conversation, but when I think of tag teams, it's just the 2 dudes. Because we're talking about the New Day. Is that Biggie and Kofi? Is that Kofi and
same with House of Black, same with Death Triangle. Because the Lucha Bros have to be up there.
Top 5.
Yeah,
in my top 5.
Totally forgot about but I'm just so I forgot about them because of Death Triangle. So Andrade and Roosh.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Dragon
That's
Lee.
impressive.
Oh boy, love that.
I hope we mention Dragon Lee again at some point in this episode.
I hope so. But first, let's get to my WWE question for you, Tyler. Okay. WWE has made leaps in terms of improving the weekly product, especially in promos, commentary, in the women's division. We are also getting fresh matches. Finally, I can't believe AJ and Lashley have never locked up.
That's wild.
Occasionally, a match or segment still feels like super polished, sanitized WWE sports entertainment product. And then you have a moment like KO and Drew, which is probably my favorite WWE promo in the last, I don't know how many years.
Wow.
10.
You liked
I
it
mean,
that much.
it was the best, most real, passionate promo I've heard in forever. I can't think of a better promo right now that happened in the WWE between two characters interacting since Punk, that felt that impassioned. There's been really good moments and there was really good soliloquies, but that back and forth sold me a ticket on that match. I wanted to see it now, and we got it. Of course, it got interrupted, but but I'm fine with that. It protects both the guys. And
yeah, I don't think both guys could use a loss right now. We
Yeah,
know
exactly.
Drew's not taking a loss right now, and
No way.
KO's being built to
Yeah.
be someone of prominence again.
And it was a distraction finish. KO leaves, sends a message to Roman, who he knows he wants to fight whoever has the title. And then Drew looks super strong by beating the piss out of both of the Usos after they got him. So, yeah, fine with that. But the Miz segment felt really polished and really sanitized. It always does, because he's like the most maximum WWE
I was going to
talent
say,
there
yeah,
is, right?
that's
Like,
pretty typical for him.
He is the WWE, which is great. That's fine.
Yeah,
It's
future Hall of Famer.
Not my jam, but it's fine. Right now we have this sort of mix between the two worlds where it's still really polished, but we're getting some rougher edges in some of the areas. Do you see them moving more away from the super polished aspect of WWE, going back more into it, somewhere in between? Where do they go from here?
Somewhere in between seems most likely to me. I don't think we're ever going to lose, in your words, the traditionally super polished segments that we get. I don't know that it's always a bad thing. I maybe tend to enjoy The Miz a little bit more than most, but certainly he's not typically my favorite segment every episode of Raw. Somewhere in between seems right to me, Brad. I think back to the black and gold, the heydays of the black and gold NXT brand. And if I get my wish, that is what we're going to see on Mondays and Fridays, just to a greater, larger extent. And I think in the black and gold days, you had a really nice mix of the WWE polished looking product and camera work, etc., while also having a letting your wrestlers, now that we can call them that, have some creative liberties, have storylines that blur the lines between what's a work and what's real. If we can get black and gold NXT from say 2014 to 2019, now on a grander stage on Monday and Fridays, I think that would be the ideal mix. And frankly, Brad, I think it's likely because the guy who was the head of black and gold NXT, we know now is running Mondays and Fridays. And you cannot deny, I don't think even Vince McMahon could deny how successful the black and gold brand was. I know when AEW came in, that kind of changed the trajectory of NXT and its path forward. But that 2014 to 2019 stretch, I mean, Brad, that was for my money, that was the best weekly wrestling product on television. It was just, and the takeovers were just some of my favorite pieces of wrestling that I can remember since I've been watching since I was 5 or 6 when my dad introduced me to this.
And it got referenced.
Yes, they were just home runs every single time that seemed to one up what is the bar of excellence. Takeover after takeover after takeover. You and I often talk about Bayley versus Sasha from Brooklyn. I'm looking at the poster in the room I'm recording in right now. We were introduced to Shinsuke Nakamura through Black and Gold. I mean, there's just example after example of what went right with Black and Gold. So my answer to you, my very long answer, I guess that's a trend on this episode, is somewhere in the middle. That is what I would like, and I think it's very likely that we're going to get that. How about you?
I agree with you. I like The Miz. I'm entertained by The Miz. I thought that segment felt, I think I have it right. I'm not positive. It was either after the women's tag match or it was after the Drew KO match. It felt out of place given what those things were, where it was they're very visceral, very real. And then it was just suddenly like, we're here to be entertaining. And it was just kind of, it was a weird transition. And the Miz Ciampa thing is really interesting to me because you have Miz being Miz and Ciampa being Black and Gold NXT more than anybody in the world. Like that dude is maximum Black and Gold. I can't think of anybody else that is more that than Tommaso Ciampa. Damn it. So Tommaso Ciampa needs to come back. I'm over it. I want to see it. But maybe
the Miz was before KO and Drew, by the way. I was looking that up.
Okay. Yeah, I did watch. But it was it just felt out of place. And that's why I was like, oh, this is weird because it's like it's still very polished in that sense. And nothing bad about it, but it felt like a weird clunky transition between the two things. So like you, I loved NXT pre 2.0. I don't like the presentation. I don't like the storylines. Nothing against the talent. The Creed brothers really grew on me. I love Carmelo. Escobar, man. Oof, that dude is a megastar.
Absolute megastar.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to see what he does on the main roster. I think we're going to see him on Mondays or Fridays.
I think so
sooner
too.
than later.
Yeah. I hope so, man. There's just so much. There's so much promise with all of these talents, and I think, like you, I'd like to see a bit of both, but I would like them to be merged and meshed a little bit better. And I think we're heading there. Right now, we're getting a bit of both, but we're not getting them in a. It's not a mixed. It's not a solution right now. Right now, there's water and there's sugar. They need to be dissolved together. That's what I want to see, and hopefully we get there at some point. But yeah, really, man, I'm just really happy that all of our wrestling during the week, even Impact, which I know you and I do not watch, we probably should. Yeah. If we could pack in a couple more hours and not have to sleep, we would be watching Impact. But,
I remember this was months and months ago when we led one of our episodes with the Iconics reappearing. Yes, do you remember that? Like we really showed some love for Impact, but then like you said, life happens.
Not a single soul has asked us for more Impact wrestling. So no. I'm not going to shit on them because I like to see wrestlers wrestling. I like to see people having jobs. I like to see people getting paid, and Impact does a lot of really, really good things on the weekly. It's just really hard to find them. And I'm just watching it on Twitch sucks. And I don't have access because I have Xfinity. So it's just not ideal, but whatever. We get to talk about all of this great wrestling. We get to give all of these wrestlers in the WWE finally get to get some flowers. And speaking of flowers, Tyler, it's time for my favorite segment every week. It is time for you to give us a rose. Play the music.
And now for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Brad, we have reached the hometown episode of The Bachelorette. So quick rewind. Last week, Nate went home. You and I have agreed that he would be a great Eric Killmonger cosplayer. The dude went home, man. He looked like he was going to be a front runner for Gabby because he absolutely was. But I told you, unfortunately, him being a single dad was going to come back to bite him. It was predictable. This past week, we saw in the first 30 minutes of the episode, even they wasted no time. Gabby and him went for a walk. It wasn't even a date. They were just sort of walking around the city, and they were in Amsterdam, I believe. and she gave him the bad news. She said, "Hey, I really appreciate you and enjoy you and think you're a wonderful man. I just don't think I'm ready to be a mom." And that was just, I think it was the worst kept secret. You could see it from a mile away, but Gabby was crying and was just a real mess in that moment, I think, as most of us would be. And Nate, although we didn't see a ton of tears, I think he was sort of accepting of the fact that, well, this is what it is, and I care about you, but I also respect your decision.
Man, I'm checking this out right now, trying to find information. I looked up Gabby crying. It's the first thing that I looked up to see any reaction. I got nothing.
No way.
Yeah. Oh, well, I did. I can't say that. I got videos of some woman named Gabby crying as she got her car hit in a parking lot. And then a couple of other things. I don't. Yeah.
Well, I will tell you, Brad, gimmickinfringementpod.com. We have our episode 7 hometown preview article up. It is now live. Thank you for making the site look so beautiful and for posting that, my dude. I do have a link in that article. I think it might be the first one, actually, which hopefully should take you to the official video from Bachelor Nation on ABC's YouTube page, which shows Gabby breaking up with him. So yeah, man, that whole episode was really rough. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the worst episode of the season, but it was just it didn't really flow as well as the others. There weren't a lot of moments to make us happy. Zach is now emerging as a front runner for Rachel, the other Bachelorette, Brad. So the hometowns are going to mean everything. I feel like the season has gone by so fast that we don't know these dudes as well as other seasons. We're not as invested in them. So I don't really know how to feel about hometowns. I'm not very drawn to many of the guys that are left. Avon is still around. Yeah. There's only one brother left. This is not a surprise. Weeks ago, Brad, I called it in one of the articles, one of the Rose reports, I should say. The question that I presented to myself was, will a brother win? And I said, no, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. So I am still rooting for Avon. I want good things for him. I don't think it's going to happen, though. So we'll see what happens with hometowns, man. There's a lot of dudes from California. I think there are 2 dudes from New Jersey. So they're going to be flying around here. And after this episode this week, we are going to be closer to the Men Tell All and then the eventual season finale. And we'll see if any of this leads to engagement. So a Rose report is now up, gimmickinfringementpod.com. You'll see the episode 7 hometown preview. You'll see some predictions, and I think it's going to be worth tuning in.
Dude, it's absolutely, if you're not going to watch, at the very least, check out the article. It's totally worth it. It's one of my favorite things. I didn't even get to read it yet. So I was trying to crash through it while you were talking. And that's when I saw the Avon line, and that's why I was laughing. And then you brought it up immediately, which I thought
I appreciate you. Had to, man.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Avon enough. Yeah, I don't think he's going to win, but I'm certainly he's my number one choice at the moment.
Absolutely great. Speaking of great, I know your question will be great. It is time for your AEW centric question for me.
Yeah, I sure hope so. I just got a notification from Instagram that says Kathy Harvey with a United States flag emoji has requested to follow me. Brad, I don't know about you, but sometimes I get these bot requests.
Yeah.
I don't know a Kathy Harvey, not one that is all about their American flag emojis, but the username is at Forex_trade_with_Kathy_Harvey. I should not even look at the profile. I should just go to the report page.
Yes. Okay. Is it Kathy with a C or a K? It's important.
Ooh, it's with a K.
Ooh, yeah. I wouldn't trust that regardless.
Oh man, and look at this. And they totally stole a photo of a sister to put on here. It's not with the American. This is not a real profile at all.
No, you're okay. Audience.
So back to something way better than these bot requests. Brad, AEW, this was another week in All Elite Wrestling where it's incredibly difficult for me to choose one question to ask you. I really want to lead with the return of Kenny Omega because I think you and I equally popped for his return.
Absolutely.
and his in-ring storytelling. I was like, why did this dude come out with a swim shirt on?
So
but then, yeah, ridiculous of me, like at All Out, we will get ripped Kenny doing all his moves seamlessly, et cetera, et cetera. Hopefully we talk about Kenny, but my question has to be revolving around the AEW World Championship. Brad, CM Punk, Jon Moxley, you alluded to this earlier in the episode. They had quite the promo duel. We got KO and Drew on Raw, which ruled, but then we got this one, which ruled for different reasons. You talk about blurring the lines between what's a work, what's a shoot. They took some shots at each other, Brad.
Yeah.
My question for you, of course, I know I'll hear your
did.
thoughts. I want to hear your thoughts on that. I know we will. So please share that. My question for you, though, is we're getting this match on this week's Dynamite, which I almost fell off the couch when they announced that. I did not see that coming. What is your best case scenario for how this plays out? And I want to add some context here. We know they're fighting on Wednesday.
Right.
Do you think we run this match back at All Out? Maybe with different stipulations. Maybe it's a Chicago street fight. Maybe it's a cage. Maybe a third person gets added to it. We have the added layer of the CM Punk Hangman Page situation, which I hope you touch on. It's very layered. What's your best case scenario? Do these two run it back at All Out? Does Hangman get inserted with the Casino ladder match? Are we expecting maybe an MJF emergence into this storyline somehow? What is your best case scenario for the AEW World Championship picture?
Yeah, this whole thing is really fascinating to me. We're gonna get Punk Moxley. I don't know how this ends. The way things are going, if reports are to be believed, which everything feels like a work. Every single thing feels like a work, but it feels believable enough to not be, like the MJF stuff. There's real heat there, but we don't know what's what. After that last promo, that's pretty clearly a work. My guess is, hey, take some time off, and then we'll have you come back for All Out. That's my feeling, because it would be great. He'll come back as a babyface. I think babyface MJF, who's still shredding people on the microphone, could be great. He doesn't really have to change. I would prefer that. I would be fine with a fatal 4-way if MJF comes back, or if Hangman Adam Page gets put in. So start there. Hangman Adam Page took a stray for no good reason, it seems like. Punk was live with Page in the ring where Page cut a promo on him to his face. This was months ago, before their match, and there's been no receipt until now. That feels really odd. So odd that I feel like maybe it was set up, but it sounds like everybody involved had no idea that it was coming. Punk wants to put the younger guys over. That's why he's in AEW. So maybe this is a way of actually getting him a rematch. Maybe this is his way of looking at it the way that FTR has been looking at it. They've been the number one contender for over a year for the tag matches, but haven't had a match for the titles. So maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe he's like, well, Hangman is the number one contender. So why isn't he in contention for the title? It doesn't make any sense. So maybe he did that to get heat on Hangman, to get Hangman involved in the match in some way, to force Tony's hand if he hadn't. That's what it felt like. It was really weird, though, and out of place.
Yeah, and the line, I went back and watched, well said, I went back and watched the Hangman Punk promo that reportedly led to Punk getting upset, and according to a Fightful report, demanding, if you will, a meeting with AEW higher-ups to talk about it. I guess the line, Brad, was Hangman Page alluding to CM Punk being sort of a fake advocate for workers' rights.
Yeah.
And then him saying, I'm not just defending the AEW championship against you at Double or Nothing. I'm defending AEW against you as a company. We don't want you here. You don't need to be here. You're corrupting the place. I'm defending this company against you, not just this belt. It seems like between those two lines, one or both reportedly is what set Punk off. Do you think that's believable by itself, that one of those two lines or both combined would lead him to, hey, Paige, you didn't tell me this was coming ahead of time. You said it in the ring, and that was a really personal attack on me. Could you see that that's believable?
Yeah. What I found really strange is that he went to higher ups. Mm-hmm. Like, why wouldn't you just tell him, hey, you crossed the line?
Right. And by all accounts, Hangman Page seems to be, I mean, you and I had never met the man, but by all accounts, he seems to have a pretty strong moral compass
Yeah.
and just a genuinely good dude, no?
Yeah, and Punk publicly seems to have that as well. Like,
Yeah.
you can't
Yeah.
listen, man.
Great politics for
I
both.
think I think maybe the way that he presents himself says I'm involved and I'm doing all this stuff. Listen, man, CM Punk wearing a reproductive rights shirt means something. It just does. He's a big
Yeah.
star. So when he comes out there and does that, he's sending a very clear message.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's out like volunteering. I don't know if he's donating. And maybe that's what he's alluding to. I don't really know. Maybe he's alluding to the workers in terms of the wrestlers saying, I'm here for the young guys. But then, he has the title. Maybe there's something there. I don't really know. If you're here to put people over, why are you the champion? I guess that's maybe what he was angling toward there.
Mhm.
I don't feel like he said anything there that was off base or anything. I don't know.
Right. Which leads to us maybe questioning, well, is this a really elaborate work? Or maybe it started out as a shoot, but now are we leaning toward that worked element?
I thought what he said about protecting AEW from you was a great line for him.
Great line.
Because
Yes.
he's a day one.
Yes.
He is he made a living outside of the WWE. Punk also did, but let's be real, his stardom happened in the WWE and now he's back. He left that place and now he's back. Of course, Hangman could take a shot there because it's right there.
That's
You could do
hilarious.
that to anybody that came from WWE or from that system. You could do it to Jericho. You could do it to Moxley. You could do it to anybody he effing feels like because it's true. It happened. The end. So, best case scenario, I think Moxley winning makes the most sense there.
Really?
Over CM
What
Punk
Wednesday, or they run it back at all out?
Wednesday,
Your best case scenario.
and then I feel like they have to run it back. My guess, they haven't taken it off the All Out card, so it's probably going to happen. Who do you think interferes? Like you know it's coming. Somebody is going to interfere in this match. Otherwise, they have to like rewrite the All Out card. And if people are already buying it because pre-orders are up, people are going to be pissed if that's not the card. If we're getting some like, I don't know, if the title's not even on the card. So like Clash at the Castle, Bianca is in a trios match with Asuka and Alexa Bliss
Yeah, which is going to rule.
against, and it's going to be
I
great.
can't wait for that show.
Yeah,
That weekend,
yeah.
big 2
Yeah.
weeks ahead for GI.
Yes. And that match is going to be great, but also your champ isn't wrestling as a champ.
Right.
So if we have that happen on this AEW card, it's not really all out if they're not going all out,
Yeah.
which is why I feel like A, we're getting a debut, B, we're getting a return, or C, things have gotten so fucked up over there, they don't know what to do and they're just going to throw Hangman in. It's the only thing I can think because that match, it sounds like, was a super late addition to Dynamite next week, which to me plays either into the storyline that Punk is super unhappy and almost didn't show up, or it's real and he's done, which I don't see happening.
Right. And he had that Instagram post honoring 1 year with the company.
Yes, but you saw how it ended.
Exactly. I think in many ways, this is an aside. I think in many ways, Punk's return kind of really motivated us to start GI. But yeah, no, it's interesting that we had that report of him allegedly thinking about not showing up to Dynamite. But then on Instagram, I want to pass it back to you. On Instagram, he's posting, I'm happy as a pig in shit.
No,
it's been a great year.
Like that was all a lie. That was a lie because of the Castellanos reference. I don't think he was doing it just to be funny. That dude did it. He went real in the middle of an apology. Something that he probably didn't really feel like. He was apologizing because he got caught, because he dropped a gay slur on air. It got caught and they're like, apologize and then we're pulling you. And while he was in the middle of his apology, Castellanos hit a home run or hit a shot. He had to call the play in the middle of the apology. And at the end, he's like, I don't know if I'm going to be on the air. I don't know if I'm ever putting on a headset again. It's up to my executives at Fox, blah, blah, blah. And then he leaves. So for him to come out during, and it was the anniversary of that call too. This is probably reading way too into it, but Punk tends to do stuff on purpose only. So maybe he was being silly and all of that stuff is true, but it felt very much like I'm saying this as a company line because I have to fly ball to left field Castellanos that'll make it a 4-0 ball game or whatever. It felt very much like he was putting it out there to say the right things and maybe not mean it, or he knows exactly what he's doing. He's saying the right things to make people question it, which is what's happening in the ring. The Hangman stuff is weird. The reports that he may have not shown up at all, not quit, but just not shown up, is really strange. The fact that it's being booked next week doesn't make any sense at all with a pay-per-view coming up. I'm stoked to see it, and I'm going to watch the pay regardless. But
I think it's going to bring great ratings, which leads me to feel like maybe this is well orchestrated. This feel of chaos and uncertainty. I guarantee, Brad, their ratings for this week's
it's their
Dynamite,
go home, right? That's their go home Dynamite.
Their Dynamite is going to do.
It's not
bananas ratings. We got one more after this, and then Labor Day weekend.
So I don't really get it. It's hopefully it'll do good ratings. They've been hovering just under 1 million. Despite the star power being back, I'd like to see him get back to 1 million. Because Rampage is just getting crushed in the ratings, even though for their time slot, they're doing really well on cable. Like they're doing like Impact numbers.
Yeah. Friday nights are it's a rough time slot.
Friday night at 10 p.m. If you're watching it live in most places, I'm streaming it early over here. Yeah. And I'm still like 7 o'clock. What a crappy time. So
yeah, I think either people are ready for bed, or they're partying in Scottsdale. There's no There's kind of a tough in between.
So I would love to see a triple threat or a fatal 4-way or a fatal 5-way. I don't care. Put all the best wrestlers you got in a match and let them go and see what happens. But if we get Punk and Moxley, I think it'll rule. Mike, I'm going to leave it alone. I'm going to back away and kick it to you.
I respect that. Punk versus Moxley. I'm not only am I eager to see how this plays out, but I think that we're getting Punk v Moxley, just those two one-on-one at All Out, maybe with an added stipulation. My only other option, I don't think MJF's going to get inserted. I think he's for sure going to be the Joker for the Casino Ladder match.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that's happening.
That seems like a layup to me.
Yeah,
we could pop. Yeah, you and I could spend 5 minutes spitballing. Oh, who's this free agent that could come in and be the Joker? But like you said,
it's MJF,
nuclear pop, babyface reaction. I think he would for sure win the match. We don't even know what the field is going to look like, but I think that would be
babyface to win. Babyface pinnacle.
Yeah, right. Absolutely. Yes, that's hard to believe, and that's a whole nother. I want the TNT title to be defended at these pay-per-views. It seems like kind of a waste for Wardlow to be in the 6-man. Granted, I will absolutely shriek with excitement when he gets the big man up for the power bomb. But it seems like that is what the match is for. Is we get FTR on the card winning, and we get a Wardlow epic power bomb. But
yeah, it's just more.
It seems like a Rampage match.
It's just more diet Ring of Honor. Sick of that crap. I can't wait for Ring of Honor to get its own show so we can get rid of all these Ring of Honor guys off my AEW. It's pissing me off.
It's
I don't nothing against them, but you can't be they're in the Ring of Honor stuff very clearly and then use them on Dynamite when you got people not Hangman wasn't on either of the shows. Really? We don't get to see Hangman wrestle, but we got to watch Sanjay come out, and I love Sanjay I don't need that shit. Get it off my TV.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say to wrap up on this one, Brad, is for Hangman. I don't know where we go next with him. It's either because he's one of your biggest superstars. He's going to be at All Out. I just think now I've become more accepting of the fact that we could get Kenny and the Bucks in the finals versus Dark Order. With Hangman, Hangman has to be in there. Obviously, him filling in for one of the Dark Order members,
probably Evil Uno.
Yeah, so maybe it's the recruitment specialist Reynolds and Silver with Hangman versus Kenny and the Bucks. That would be a well-told story, and I at this point I could see the Dark Order making it to the finals with Paige of the Trios Tournament more so than I could see Paige being added to All Out in the main event as a triple threat. I think that would rule. I think it's certainly not out of the question, but I just see him being in that Trios Tournament final I see that being way more likely than him being inserted. But it makes me wonder why Punk would start his promo with that Hangman shot if it wasn't leading to Hangman being added at the last minute. Maybe it was just he was really pissed about it and felt like he needed to get a receipt. Again, I think this is a master class and they're getting us to tune in on Wednesday. I want to see how these next 2 weeks play out. I can't wait.
Yeah, and I'm as I type up my new question too, because all my material is gone.
Was it going to be Kenny?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
No. It was going to be this, what we're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So I think Mox versus Punk is going to sell up pay-per-view tickets. It's already a main event. I don't know how you get bigger other than maybe Danielson versus Punk. I don't think they're going to do that. I don't know what Danielson does on the card. I don't know what Yuta does. I don't know what Garcia does.
Probably Danielson v. Jericho, right?
It seems like the most likely thing, but
fighting for the custody of Daniel Garcia.
But it might be Garcia versus Jericho. So
great piece of business, by the way, on Wednesday.
Oh, incredible match.
Amazing. And the baby
match angle was all so good.
Brad, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna mute myself. The "You're a wrestler" chance for Garcia.
Chills.
Chills.
Yes.
I am writing this down. This is the 40-second minute mark. That is going to be our contender for a clip of the week. Continue. I am muting.
No, we're good. We're good. 45, 46, doesn't matter. It's time for 19. It is time for the state of 19 media.
And now it's time for the state of the biz.
The Baseline NBA podcast is still running these content streets. Check out their latest episode to hear an exclusive interview with Kevin Wilson Jr., director of Netflix's new Untold documentary, The Rise and Fall of And One. Shout out to my heavy, thick ass And One shorts from like 98, 97.
I cannot wait for this, Brad. That's going to be just a phenomenal documentary. And shout out to Warren Shaw for that really fantastic interview. What a summer it's been for the Orlando Magic and its fan base. On the latest episode of Close Up Magic, superfan Stephen Cameron welcomes special guest Patrick Shehu to discuss the latest news surrounding the franchise.
Join Mo, former GI and future GI guest. Although Mo has only come in small packages. Join Mo for the latest edition of Hidden Gems Golf. Tap in and hear his thoughts on golf's latest event, the BMW Championship from Wilmington, Delaware. I had to really think about what the hell that state was.
I don't know. I have not been to Wilmington. I don't know many other people that have.
I don't know anybody that's ever been to Delaware.
Well said. Me neither. Jabari Davis, the Jabari Ali Davis, formerly of 19 Media and now producer for iHeartMedia, is doing great work behind the scenes for the show Miles and Jack Got Mad Boosties, an NBA podcast. Check out the show and check out all of the great work and the really witty tweets that he has. You can get at him at Jabari Davis NBA on Twitter.
Absolutely great follow. Also, great producer, great pods. Finally, shout out to Mike Steff, former GI guest and fellow podcaster, almost GI co-host today, but my throat clearly held out, crisp and clear into the microphone. Sammy Callahan. Check out his show, The Salty Thoughts of Donnie Ooh, for detailed, passionate commentary on the latest news in sports, professional wrestling, and New York politics. You can find him at Mike Stevens _ Man, Tyler, I can't believe my throat has held out this long. It's time for my question too. Well, as I say it, my throat peters out.
Naturally, yeah.
Okay. Kenny Omega has made his triumphant return. What an amazing way to do it too. The handing of the sheets to the announcer. What's his name again? It's
Justin Roberts.
I was like Justin,
the Dapper Yapper himself.
The Dapper Yapper. He started like looking around, and then the eyebrow came up, and then he just went into
the lights.
All the bona fides.
Dream tech job. Yeah.
And I love that people weren't sure until he said the longest reigning AEW champion.
Yeah.
But it's like, How do you not know his music at this point? How do you
Yeah.
not know the lights? How do you not know what's coming here?
He has flown out of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah,
His
that's so good.
favorite
Candy
candy,
bar is the
Charleston
Charleston
Chew.
Chew. Yes, so good. All of it was so good, and
It
you're like,
was.
you're getting babyface Kenny right now.
Yes.
And I'm so happy to have babyface Kenny back. I love heel Kenny. Don't get me wrong, heel Kenny rules. We kind of got a touch of that after the match was over. Tyler, in between the Rampage taping and the end of Dynamite, the Dynamite main event saw the Elite get the win, moving on in the Trios Tournament. And Kenny got on the mic to thank the fans and also cut a bit of a promo by just looking out and very seriously saying, "We are not here for personal gain. We are not here for wealth. We are not a tribute act." Taking direct shots at probably FTR, probably CM Punk. It feels like there is definitely heat from one of or three of the executives of AEW towards some of the people in the locker room. Obviously, Kenny and the Bucks are invested. I think they are lifers as EVPs. I don't know if I can say that with confidence considering what happened with Cody. Tyler, does Kenny's promo give you any pause as to whether or not the stuff that happened this week between Hangman and Punk and Mox, like Mox's line saying, "We all know you came back because you were broke." Does it give you any pause here to think maybe all of this is a shoot?
I think it's the opposite for me. Call me skeptical or a cynic, but I think this could, if I'm viewing this as a work, I think this could perfectly set up a future just epic trios match of the Bucks and Kenny versus Punk and FTR. I'm not saying that's the sole reason why this happened. I think there are absolutely elements of a shoot here with what Kenny was saying, and maybe this sort of divide between six of the more prominent names on the male roster. To me, though, Brad, if you asked me to choose, I just, again, elements of a shoot and how these guys really feel, but I would lean toward more of the side of this is a work than it is absolute true heat between potentially the six of them. How about you?
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. It felt real. I don't think he was lying. I'm pretty sure he's saying that, but I also think everybody else is on board with that. It was a little bit weird seeing John Silver, who may also be in this whole thing, given what happened with Stu Grayson and how angry he was in that promo, and that was real right before he left because his contract ran out. Alan Angel's leaving simply because he's like, "I'm not doing anything here. I'm not growing. I need to go." The other people that have contracts have simply run out. We know that that's going to happen. It's not that big of a deal because business is business. But to see the MJF situation where people that haven't wrestled a match suddenly are getting much bigger contracts than he is coming from WWE.
And they can't lace his effing boots. I need to watch that promo again, Brad. That
I
was
know
just
it's so good.
all out. Here we go. Here we
Yes.
come.
God, I hope so.
Yeah, they're getting big contracts. Yeah.
I think they just need him back. They need a couple of things here, man. They need Britt on the screen more. They need Britt Baker being absent basically from wrestling that's not tag team wrestling or squash matches has been really something.
Yeah, I think she's going to be added to that all-out women's match. Thunder Rosa versus Toni Storm. I know they just wrestled at Forbidden Door, and both are, just amazing talents. I think Britt's going to end up added, and I would hope Jamie Hayter as well.
I would love to see Jamie Hayter steal the pin and become women's champion.
I was thinking about when I was watching Rampage earlier. I was thinking about that. Like, how great would it be if it's a four-way? We all expect Tony to win, maybe even Britt,
and Jamie steals it,
but Jamie wins.
Maybe pinning Britt.
Oh, okay.
Or having the chance to pin Britt and like being like, I don't know what to do, and then she just pins her. Oh my God, it would be amazing.
I think it's Tony's belt to win at the moment, but I am here for a Jamie Hayter run sooner than later.
I think it would be great. I don't think anybody would be mad about it, even if it's a short run, to set up a feud with Britt, break that up, and then have Jamie go on and do her own thing. You could create a megastar just
Blackpool Combat Club.
Thank you. Oh my God, yes, it makes the most sense.
Needs a woman, and Jamie Hayter, I think, is the perfect embodiment of what they're doing right now.
And you could have Jamie and Ty feud. You could have
Yes.
there's
Money.
so many potential just absolute slappers out there, because I think the other thing that could happen that hasn't happened, it's kind of pissing me off, to be honest with you, is where's Sheeta? Why is she still in Japan? Get Sheeta back, man. Like, we need Sheeta back.
Yeah, we need it.
She's gotten progressively better with her English on the mic. I don't need her to speak English. Just let her cut a promo in Japanese and have it translated. It's not that big of a deal. It's not that hard. I don't know why
Right.
we aren't doing this.
I agree.
If we're gonna do it with the other talent, like, how often have the Lucha Bros cut a promo in English? Like Penta says, it's not.
Yeah,
that
I was gonna say they
complicated.
got Alex Abrahantes right there.
Yeah, have somebody translate. Have Kenny translate. Have Sheeta join the Elite. Do something. I don't know.
Wow, that's a hell of a
I
proposition.
mean, I would love to see that, but I don't. She doesn't really fit in that group at all. Britt fits in that group more than anybody else, probably. But yeah, man, I don't know. It feels like there's so much potential that is going into All Out right now, that everything feels like a shoot, and it might just be one giant work. All of it, every bit of it.
That's where I'm at, and I'm happy being in that place where we have so many of these storylines where
We don't know.
we don't know, because I think that takes us back to our favorite times of being a fan
Yeah.
of this, when we just did. None of us knew. None of us
Right.
know these people. None of us have Tony Khan's phone number. We don't know what's real and what's not, and that's when it's at its most entertaining.
And it's beautiful. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thankful for that, and time to be thankful for other things. Tyler, it is time for a moment of gratitude from the GI pod.
And now it's time for a little self-reflection. So, think about yourselves. Or something.
I'll go ahead and kick us off here. My moment of gratitude is kind of going back to the first 5 minutes of this episode, Brad. I am grateful this week for Mother Earth. I don't know what it was about this weekend, but spending more time outside, the weather, again, being mid 90s as the high, a lot of rain, total Monsoon Jones here in Arizona. If you don't know what a monsoon is, look it up. It's a thing all Arizonans know. I just really embraced how beautiful it is to spend time out here, Brad, and just not only just spending time outside because you know it's good for you, but just embracing the gratitude of, like, man, how wonderful of a life is this, that, you know, I'm able to walk to the park, I'm able to shoot hoops, I'm able to, this is going to sound totally Shel Silverstein-esque, just hear the birds and hear the trees blowing in the wind, and, you know, how lucky am I to have some cool shoes I can lace up that, you know, help me today. Like, I really embraced just being able to spend, you know, an hour of my Saturday not worrying about my phone or about assignments or about work emails, but just living. I didn't even bring music this trip, which is pretty rare for me. Just no speakers, just let me enjoy time outside. So I say all that, but I want to add another element or layer of, I was watching HBO this weekend. I forget which program, if it was John Oliver or something else. And there was a mention of protecting the planet and protecting the environment, specifically around the topic of online shopping. I think this even may have been Real Time with Bill Maher, which is kind of a controversial show these days, but I must admit I still watch. And his whole point was that with online shopping, we don't realize the damage we're doing to the planet. So to not be a downer, I thought about that, and I was considering my own shopping habits. So I kid you not, Brad, I watched this last night. I would say about an hour or two beforehand, I just placed an epic order with Champ Sports. They had a $20 off 99 or more promotion for 3 days. And I was like, okay, I kind of like these Nike sneakers that are on sale. I like this Jackie Robinson tee. Oh, that Tim Duncan jersey's on. It was just ridiculous, man. So on one hand, I'm embracing how beautiful the earth is and really cherishing it here in Arizona. But then on the other hand, I'm questioning my own shopping habits. And, you know, that Champs order I had probably for sure going to come in maybe 3 or 4 different packages, which always upsets me when you place an order with Amazon. Yeah. And I know now you can select some different options, but with Amazon, with Target, I try to select those energy efficient options, but it still seems like sometimes I'm getting these orders in like 4 different shipments. And then I have this cardboard box, and then I'm like, is this going to get recycled? Does it end up in a landfill? This is really an existential crisis I'm dealing with, as you can hear, my friend. But I want to embrace these Saturdays and embrace just being outside, while also doing what I can to be a more thoughtful shopper, be a more thoughtful consumer of water. I know you care about this topic as well, my dude. We're dealing with a water crisis in Arizona, and not just even in Arizona. It's really around the country. But that's something where, in 10 years, I just hope that we have enough water to sustain everyone inhabiting planet Earth. So I am grateful for the moment we're living in now, and I'm grateful that maybe I have some increased motivation to, in my small way, do what I can to not contribute to pollution or to wasting water, so on and so forth. So I'm excited for my Champs order, Brad. I'm going to send you a picture of my Derek Jeter tee that comes in. I was inspired by the Captain series, so I'm going to send you a picture of when it comes here. But I also think moving forward, I want to find the willpower to not always feel like I have to click add to cart to purchase, arrive in 4 different boxes. So grateful. This is my longest gratitude ever. Grateful for Mother Earth. Grateful for you listening to that soliloquy. And I definitely want to hear what you're grateful for too.
I've completely forgotten.
Are you kidding?
What I'm grateful for.
No, I feel bad, man.
No. I've
it's a tough
and
one.
There's so many things. I was thinking about it today when I was watching Freya run around, and I'm just so grateful that I have a healthy family, myself aside. Clearly, as I say, aside, and it peters out my throat. Man, just watching her grow up and be funny and be genuine and imaginative, and it's just so great. Like everything about it is great. She's excited for the seasons. She's excited for learning. She's excited for all of these different things. And I'm thankful for that. I'm also thankful for you, who made her week with a book, with a righteous space helmet. She loves putting that thing on. It's way too big for her head, so her nose smushes in the front.
Perfect, which is what I was hoping for.
Yeah, it's absolutely perfect. I can put it on. It fits me down to here, and then it doesn't fit me anymore. But so for her, it's great. I'm sure we're getting her a spacesuit at some point. But just watching her just be excited about that stuff, watching Expedition Unknown, and her asking questions about, like, is that buried treasure? Oh, that's a cave. Is he an archaeologist? She's like saying words like that now, and she wants to find fossils.
She drops archaeologist.
No, she butchered it, but she attempted it.
But the attempt was there.
But she knows the word, so that's
amazing.
Yeah, it's just so great. So I'm just really grateful for everything right now. I'm grateful for just what we have while we have it. I'm going to stop there for the sake of time. But like you, I was out. I don't think I have it in here. Yeah, I do. I made a couple more pallet board panels to create some stuff, because that pallet board is either going to go in the trash. You can't burn it. Burning it is pretty terrible for the environment, for your health. Regular wood, it's wood, but pallet wood especially is just loaded with toxins. So being able to make something out of it that is lasting, that won't go into the landfill, was important to me when we got all these pallets from the rocks and from the grass and from all that stuff. So I've been thinking about it a lot lately too. Like Amazon, man, what are we doing with these 9 boxes? Or I'll order like an SD card, right? This little SD card I got, put that thing in a package, and it comes in a box that's like an 11 by 17 by 3 box. And it's like the package is a wafer inside of it. Like, the hell is that? So
you nailed it. That was exactly what I was thinking.
It's infuriating. It's infuriating. So we end up with a lot of cardboard waste, and of course we recycle. Very conscious of recycling everything.
Reuse it even, right?
Yep. Oil change city. But like the milk containers and stuff, like, you don't rinse those things out, they can't recycle. And the toppers on a soda can or soda bottle or a water bottle, they're supposed to be removed. There's stuff that we're not taught how to do it correctly, and then a lot of it, who knows what happens to it. So
Handful, yeah.
I just worry about it, and it's not really about. Here's the other thing that we have to grapple with. Recycling takes an enormous amount of energy to do, and that is pumping more waste into the atmosphere because of the energy we need to do the recycling. But it's not really about, at that point, helping protect the air. It's making sure we have the resources available so we don't have to keep mining and deforesting and that kind of stuff. And people forget about that part. It's like, cool, we are burning fuel to recycle, but like, we're not cutting down the Amazon, the lungs of the world where most of our air comes from. Maybe we don't chop that shit down. Thanks, Brazil, by the way. The Brazilian president or whatever saying Brazil is open for lumber or whatever he said, for foresting, and just said, go ahead and start cutting it down. I mean,
yeah, what are we doing here?
You're killing everybody.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, no, we got to be grateful for it. And I think off of that gratitude, hopefully we make more thoughtful choices, more consistent choices, and just recognize that we can't take this for granted, man. It's been given to us, and we must be, if I may finally step off of my high horse, we must be, I think, stewards of this place and make sure that, when Freya is our age, air will be healthy enough for her to breathe. She can go see some trees, go to Brazil and, see the rainforest, so on and so forth, protect our animals that rely on our climate. And there's just so many things to think about here, man. But I'm so grateful that you are also thinking about this, because I was really just all in my feelings about my purchases and thinking like, man, you're so right about the SD card coming in, like a box or just a huge wafer. It's like, I want my SD card, but I also want a planet that's inhabitable.
Yeah, and that's
for the rest of my lifetime. And the next generation.
The thing that's so mystifying is that like they'll send a book, a hardcover book, in like the shitty bubble wrap thing that you just throw away. And my books are always the corners are wrecked because they put it in that. But then something that's in like plastic, like the SD card, it's not gonna break. It's not gonna happen. Put that into like military grade cardboard. And it's like, well, what are we doing here?
Exactly. But then there are some, this is my last point. There are some things that you can only say get on Amazon, or you go to the store and they may not have it. And then you're pissed off because I went to Walmart for some Gatorade deluxe chocolate bars. They didn't have it. And I don't have my deluxe chocolate for the week. So it's very,
I'm absolutely buying my batteries from Amazon every single time because I can buy 5,000 of them for the same price as an 8-pack over at Dollar General.
Exactly. We didn't even talk about cost wise. It's typically a better price there. So man, I appreciate you. I want to hear what you're looking forward to this week. I know we got that N1 documentary coming out on Netflix. I did watch the Manti Te'o Untold documentary, which was fascinating, and I highly recommend. We got an epic 2 weeks of wrestling ahead, Brad, as we get closer to Clash of the Castle and All Out. So I want to pass it to you, man. What are you looking forward to this week, entertainment wise, school wise? What's on your mind?
Two things. Tonight, the premiere of House of the Dragon on HBO Max. Excited for that. I don't know when I'll get to check it out, but I am excited to check it out. And Wednesday, man, like how can you not be excited for the Punk Mox match? I feel like I'm probably speaking for both of us there, but I'm really looking forward to that and looking forward to trying to find my rhythm as I teach a 6th class during the school day. I took on a 6/5, so I no longer have a prep period. I'm looking forward to finding my balance before I start my school, which I believe is not this week, but the following week. And I better check on that today, make sure that it's not starting like Thursday this week or something. But looking forward to the match, looking forward to the show, looking forward to a week that leads up to a short week that leads up to a long weekend is what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, absolutely.
How about you?
Yeah, no, Brad, everything you said and then some. I'm also, speaking of reality TV and my love for it, I'm also a big fan of Big Brother, which is on tonight as we record on a Sunday. It's 3 weeks. They have it really scheduled out well with their competitions, and between Big Brother, The Bachelorette, finishing the captain. There's not a lack of TV and streaming programs for me to watch. We also have the WNBA playoffs that are continuing. Unfortunately, the Mercury were eliminated last night by the Las Vegas Aces. But I think I'll root for the Aces and Kelsey Plum from here forward. So there's a lot of TV to watch, man. A lot to be grateful for job-wise. We are full steam ahead with the university and classes, my own class, and then different events for the college, events in the community, events on campus. So like you, hoping I find my balance, which leads to me finding my groove. And I just hope that I can remain healthy. My loved ones, my dear friends, such as my co-host here, can remain healthy and happy. And yeah, man, we're just we're rocking and rolling as always.
Yeah, shout out to you, by the way. I talked to Terry Piquel. Shout out to Terry this week in the copy room, and I don't know if I didn't really know this about you with the Big Brother thing.
You two talked about Big Brother, and then she
we talked about you, and she brought up, oh yeah, he loves Big Brother. I love talking to him about Big Brother.
It's a thing.
I can't. I will never watch it simply because the name freaks me out.
That's fair. And again, for me, it's just at this point in my life, it's really just Big Brother and The Bachelorette. I want you to know that I'm not watching 90 Day Fiance. I'm not watching whatever else. The Kardashians is not my speed. I'm not here to shame them, but not my speed. It's just Bachelorette and
Ms. and Mrs.
Ms. and Mrs. There was that other one, the Chrisleys. That usually comes on before or after Raw. It's like this family in Tennessee or something. Oh. They're kind of creepy. Shout out to Tennessee, except for the Chrisleys and Mayor Glenn Jacobs. But
Duck Dynasty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, man. Should be a great week. I am so grateful that you made it to this episode, Brad. I hope your voice heals up. We are so grateful for all of you that have listened, that have watched, that have supported what we do. You know, Brad is at Win Duster. I am at Tyler J. McDowell. We are at GI Pod 19. And Brad, I'm going to turn to you. Any final words before we wrap up this amazing episode? I had a blast.
I did too, actually. My final words are, if you're coughing a lot, figure out a way to stop it, or your voice is going to go away. The coughing has stopped a bit. Yesterday, I couldn't say a word. So my final thought is take care of your health. And even though you might be vaccinated, even though you might not be around people that are sick, if you are sick, please take care of yourselves. Think of other people. I will tell you that I did not wear a mask when I was teaching, but I did if I got close to kids out of respect, because I don't care what this is. If I start coughing, you don't want none of this on you. So this sucked. Lots of kids out with a gnarly cold that isn't really anything other than a gnarly cold, but it's not like there aren't other things floating around. COVID, the flu, monkeypox, apparently. Just take care of yourselves, people. Summer's winding down. We're heading toward fall. We got the fall decor out in the hallway. We are gearing up to get ready now because we're just done with summer. Let's go fall. Yeah, man. Find something that brings you joy is the last thing I'll say. Find something this week that brings you joy. Hopefully it's wrestling. Hopefully it's GI. Hopefully it's something else in 19 Media. Hopefully it's something on Good Pods. For me, it's all of those things. And also I'll do a little woodworking. Hopefully tonight, we'll see how planning goes and grading goes. But hopefully tonight, find your joy. That's the last thing I'll say.
I can't top that. Well said. Thank you all so much. We hope you'll join us next week. And like Brad said, take care of yourselves, and we'll be back in your inbox soon. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, our premier partners, and Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.